video showing the tense moments sparking bullying accusations against a Chicago alderman.
The exchange has Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa stepping down from key leadership posts on City Council. Here in video you'll see only on two, the 35th Ward alderman wearing a gray shirt and khaki pants seemingly grabs onto a colleague, then uses his body to block her from entering council chambers for a vote. CBS 2's Sabrina Franza was there as our cameras were rolling, and she has more now. Sabrina?
Joe, we were there as this began and heard shouting come from just behind council chambers. We realized at that moment that Alderwoman Emma Mitz was being blocked from entering by now former floor leader, Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa.
Alderwoman Emma Mitz was trying to get into council chambers.
Let go of Emma. Do not hold her.
To vote on whether or not a referendum on the city's sanctuary city status would be on the ballot next March. Standing in her way, Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa. He shakes his head as she eventually makes her way inside.
She was at a loss for words. She was like, I don't remember feeling like this since I was in the South as a child.
I had to put my body into his, leaning into him so that he could no longer move, to keep blocking her so that she could make her way into the chamber to make for the 26th vote.
Alderwoman Nicole Lee is one of multiple alder people who filed a report with the Inspector General to look here.
I was unfortunately on the receiving end of a verbal threat to zoning in my ward should I not do what he was asking, which was to leave the room.
He's not going to do anything in my ward or have development because I don't agree with the policies or for me doing my job here.
Threats from Ramirez Rosa, who was the chair on the city's zoning committee as well.
It was, if we're gonna work together for stuff in your ward, then you need to take a walk.
So let me get this straight, right? Some Hispanic man, right, comes here from another country, right? The black people paved the way for civil rights, that people could, have some more freedoms in the United States. People like him could have more freedom, have civil rights, different things, right? He comes here from another country, right? Goes to Chicago, gets elected to city council. And then this black woman who doesn't agree with him, who says, listen, I don't agree with Chicago being a sanctuary city. We need resources for black people, not for illegal immigration, and I'm not going to support that. He basically assaults this woman and threatens her, right? She said she felt like she was in Jim Crow South, but she's in Chicago, right? This Hispanic man, right, Latino, whatever you want to call him, right? But notice, he didn't go at anybody else. He didn't go at the Asian woman. He verbally threatened the Asian woman, right? And he made verbal threats to other people, right? But he physically accosted and bullied and got in the face of this black woman, this 68-year-old black woman, right? And pretty much grabbed her and told her, if you don't support illegal immigration and you don't support what I want you to do as a Hispanic Latino person, right, then I'm gonna create a problem for you, not only verbally, but physically. I'm gonna get physical with you, right? I'm gonna get physical. You gonna get physical with a 68-year-old woman, right? So they up here now, right? These people, these immigrants and these, I guess they're allies, right? Basically, what do you call it? I'm trying to think. What do you call it when you? It wouldn't be it wouldn't be extortion. I mean, bullying and threatening black people that if you don't support illegal immigration, well, we gonna get you, right? Walking up on their so-called colleagues, right? Talk about a hostile work environment. But this is what it's like working around white people and Hispanics, Arabs. If you black, this is an example of what it's like working with them, right? As long as you're agreeing with them and shining their shoes, it's all smiles and kiki, ha, ha, ha. The minute that you don't, or now you got a problem. You see, mind you, she was his superior. I believe she is like a senior member, right? And then he does this to this black woman, right? Mind you, there's a black man standing behind her who didn't do anything. This big black man who's bigger than him, he didn't do anything, right? If that would have been my coworker and he would have did that, I would have. And look at the size difference. He could have stepped up and like pushed him out the way, like, "Hey man, what the fuck are you doing, right? Get off of her. You can't pull no shit like that around here." He didn't do anything. He let it go. It was the other Hispanic man who said, "Hey man, let go of that woman. Right? You can't do that to her." There's something wrong with black people in America. You see? I mean, this man is a coward. He stood there. He like 6'3". That looked like he about 6'3". He's standing behind her. He didn't do shit. It was the short Hispanic man that had to stop his own Hispanic brethren from basically bullying and assaulting this woman from doing her job. Right? While he stood there and watched, maybe he was Hispanic too. I thought he might have been. He looked a little darker. He might have been black, but maybe he was Hispanic too. Right? So they ganging up on this woman in city council, and you wonder why your black politicians don't do anything for black people. It's because they're being harassed and threatened at a certain level, right? And here you see, you know, the videotape of him harassing and basically threatening this city council woman. That and he told her she has to support illegal immigration. She has to support sanctuary cities and opening buildings for illegal immigrants to come in to the black community or else. And I guess he was trying to get physical with her. Like, you know, I put the smack down on you. Like physically put the smack down on you. In City Hall. In front of everybody. Right? The thing about this that really bothers me is I think he got away with an apology. Like, sorry about that. It was all fun. I was just joking. I was just kidding with you. Dude, you lucky. If that would have been my mother, my 68-year-old mother, and you did that, right? You threatened her like that, right? You would have had problems, right? But it's a shame what happens to black people in America. Now they got immigrants coming in here, like this guy, and threatening. He gets into City Hall and he's threatening the black politicians, telling them they gotta support Hispanic, you know, initiatives or Latino initiatives. Like, even if it's illegal, like illegal immigration. People with no paperwork, you know, broke into the country illegally, right? We want them in here, so you do, because they're gonna help us fuck you over. Right? So he's strong-arming this woman in City Hall, this 68-year-old politician, telling her, you're going to support this illegal immigration. You're going to support sanctuary cities. You're going to support opening up these migrant shelters and giving them, you know, billions of taxpayer dollars, right? Or I'm going to assault you in the hallway and force you, you know, to do it. I mean, this is the type of shit that's going on. There's going to be a reckoning. Right? That's all I'm going to say about that. There's going to be a reckoning for this. Right? There has to be a reckoning for this. Right? He couldn't even be in a country if it wasn't, if it wasn't for what black people, you know, in the civil rights movement did. These immigrants wouldn't even be able to come in this country and walk around and do the shit that they doing. And then they come in this country and assault black people when they don't go 100% along with whatever they want, even if it's illegal immigration for their so-called brethren, I guess. You gotta get stepped on, right, and fucked over for them. Or I'm gonna assault you in the hallway, right? To make sure my illegal immigrant brethren get their paperwork or get their, funding or whatever it is that you're trying to force through the city council. There's going to be a reckoning for this. Trust me and believe me. For what these people are doing to black people. That's all I'm going to say about that. That's all I got.